This programme is a DUADS collaboration with Purple Radio Drama. Content warnings may be found in the description below. DUADS presents Rubber Gloves, written by Arthur Drury, directed by Oliver Buck.
Come in.
The lead physicist is here, sir.
Excellent. Show her in.
Through here, please.
Thank you, Smith. Leave us to it for now. Ah, yes. Now, Margret Tawnham, is that correct?
Margret, yes.
Excellent. I see the file we've got on you here has your name spelt wrong. I'll make note to get someone to correct it.
No, sir, it's spelled correctly.
What do you mean? Dr. Tawnham, do you suppose to tell me that your name is spelt correctly on this piece of paper, and yet I would assume, since you're probably not in the habit of looking at classified documents about your clearance, that you've never seen this piece of paper before? How could you know what sort of misspelling I'm referring to? It could be for any part of your name.
But it's not, sir. You're referring to the same part as everyone. You're referring to the spelling of Margaret as M-A-R-G-R-E-T, as like the first three letters of margarine and the last four letters of regret.
Yes, that's true. So it's meant to be spelled that way, then?
Yes, sir. My parents were of the opinion that the second A in Margaret, by virtue of rarely if ever being pronounced, was unnecessary. Although I'm fairly sure they formed this opinion after they accidentally misspelled my name on my birth certificate.
All right, enough of this. This isn't why I called you in.
Right. You called me in to talk about the...
Yes, I did.
Yes, sir. I know I wrote the report in it for you, which I'm sure you have read.
I have?
But I did suspect you would want to hear it from me personally.
Well, it makes little enough sense by itself, let alone when someone decides to write it down and attempt to do so using military... what's the word?
Language, parlance?
I was just going to say words.
Oh.
No matter. So, if you could just talk me through it all. When did this all start?
About 3 weeks ago, sir. You see, our janitor at the facility here, Mr. Green, he'd come up with an idea.
Right. But not like a genius goodwill hunting style idea from the way I understand it.
No, sir. Every day, he'd come into work after we had finished our testing for the day and clean the whole building himself. He's the only janitor here for security reasons. The fewer people there are, the less likely someone is going to leak the super important secrets we have here. So, of course, he also has to clean the main testing room.
Right. So, there was a problem while he was cleaning the lab, then?
Yes, sir. As it turns out, for the past month, you know, ever since Dr. Barkowski solved the issue of generating enough energy for the experiments, every time Mr. Green cleans the laboratory, he receives an electric shock.
Yes. See, the file I read was unclear on this. How does he get shocked?
Well, apparently after testing, because of the vast amounts of energy we use, there was always a certain amount of electricity energy stored in and around the laboratory that sort of hung around. Every time Mr. Green touched something metal in the room, or did something like switch the light switch on, he would receive a hefty electric shock.
I see. And none of you experienced these shocks?
We did, sir. In fact, we discovered it pretty quickly and made it a policy of being careful not to touch any of the metal after experiments were over. Not if we couldn't help it.
And what happened?
Well, Mr. Green eventually got fed up on getting these electric shocks after about a week, and just over 3 weeks ago started wearing rubber gloves while he was cleaning the whole room.
That seems sensible.
Indeed it was, sir.
And why did none of you think of this?
That is an excellent question, sir. The official line for most of us is we did think of it, but it's far too difficult packing up delicate lab equipment with rubber gloves on.
I see. And what's the real story?
Yeah, no one thought of it. Except for Dr. Eichelmann. She generally claims to have thought of it before Mr. Green did, but unlike him, she lacked easy access to a good pair of durable gloves, and as such ordered a pair that she's still waiting to be delivered.
Waiting? For 3 weeks? Well, that's clearly just not true, right?
No, sir.
I hope you made an appropriate amount of fun out of her saying that.
Believe me, sir, we did it at the time. She even tried to connect her glove shipment being delayed to some story she heard about an extraterrestrial activity over the Pacific.
Huh? How does she know about aliens?
Pardon?
Oh, nothing. So, back to what happened. why on earth did Mr. Green wearing rubber gloves result in causing the events of last week?
Well, you see, sir, the rubber gloves he wore tended to get worn out much quicker as he was using them a lot more. And so in order to keep up with this, he carried an extra pair on his person just in case the pair he was using that evening got too worn out as he was doing his job.
And?
Well, it turns out it was one glove too many for his cleaning cart, as one of them fell off while he wasn't looking, and it wedged itself in an integral part of the machine we've been building.
Ah. Also, Dr. Tawnham, I've been told about this machine before, and I will warn you now while I've got the chance. This is a serious job we've all been tasked with here, and I don't appreciate you and the team using the government's time and money to build what essentially appears to be a giant mechanical bouncy castle.
It is not a bouncy castle. Yes, it's true, the more they press on the sides and the floor of it, the more energy it generates. But we promise it's called a mechanical hyperelastic energy generator, and it's a proper scientific discovery.
You can use all the fun science words you like. You fill a futuristic metallic bouncing material with air and get them to jump up and down. Smith went down to your lab to observe 2 weeks ago and was quite surprised to see all the agents in the bouncy castle together jumping around.
We thought all at once might work better.
Some of them were attempting joyous backflips and double bouncing each other.
Just trying some new moves to generate the energy.
And the party had some birthday cake? Was it someone's birthday?
We find it more conducive to morale.
My word. No wonder we haven't achieved a single teleportation yet.
Well, okay, no teleportation, but we did have...
What happened last week? Yes, I know. So yes, how did the rubber glove getting jammed in the bouncy castle...
Not a bouncy castle.
How did it result in Special Agent Reese getting launched through space and time?
Well, sir, the hope of this new bouncy castle technology, as you're so wanting to call it, is that by generating enough energy in one session and programming the computers to disintegrate the separate molecules of the individual at exactly the same moment when the level of energy stored in the machine is exactly correct, one can effectively cause their own teleportation by launching out of the bouncy castle in the form of infinite tiny particles and flying over to another point. In our experiment, that point was the hot tub on the other side of the lab.
Putting aside the fact it absolutely doesn't need to be a hot tub, and what a waste of government money that is for the moment, what does that mean for the rubber glove? I'm still unclear on this.
Actually, sir, there's a very scientific reason for having a hot tub in the lab. In fact, the entire waterproof section is you know what? You're right, let's move on.
Why did the rubber glove...
Well, it jammed in the mechanism, sir. And no one realized it was there until one day last week when, as I said, we were testing out the machine with Special Agent Reese on it. She was midway through the bouncing on the floor in her bag in that fun way where when they land on your feet and it's like you did a kick without any effort. When suddenly the rubber glove came loose and the mechanism it had been holding back suddenly launched forward with such force and energy that not only did the machine finally succeed launching Special Agent Reese molecules to space, but also through time. And launched her much further through time than it accounted for, in fact.
So, the machine finally worked?
Yes.
Well, that at least is a major scientific discovery for the new millennium.
Yes, sir. It also led to the minor scientific discovery that we didn't need the mechanism that the rubber glove got jammed in, really, since we realized it hadn't been working for 2 weeks and no one had noticed.
Very good. Excellent work. But then, if I understand you correctly, Dr. Tawnham, Special Agent Reese teleported, but maybe too far?
Definitely, Colonel. In fact, there's a debate amongst the team whether she teleported at all or was actually just launched into a separate dimension.
Well, that sounds like a very boring and confusing discussion, so don't have it with me.
Yes, sir.
Just tell me what happened to Special Agent Reese.
Well, before I tell you, I think it's worth emphasizing that we have her back now and you don't need to worry about her.
Not to worry. I wasn't doing that anyway.
Okay. Well, according to a report, Special Agent Reese ended up in an otherworldly plane unrecognizable in most concepts of space and dimension that we are aware of, although still possessing some semblance of reality that she could recognize. To the best of her interpretation, she appeared next to the resting place of an ancient entity.
How did she know it was ancient?
According to a report, sir, the ancient entity was able to tell her these things through some alien way of communicating. We suspect it was telepathy, but she keeps insisting it involved making re noises.
What happened next?
Well, the entity told her she had awoken from its nigh eternal slumber and it was ready to wreak havoc upon the universe around it, and then it put on the kettle and offered her a cup of tea.
Okay.
Then, as I understand it, the next thing that happened was they fell madly in love and had a beautiful destination wedding. Although, given they were already in an unknown sector of existence, we haven't worked out where said destination was. According to Ree's description, it sounded like Hawaii, but that seems unlikely somehow.
Okay. Do I want this explaining to me?
Probably not. Anyway, the long and short of it is, after a full lifetime of happiness and boundless love, Special Agent Reese remembered they had a job to do and asked the ancient entity if they could get a lift home.
A full lifetime?
Also, they returned Reese to the time and age she was when she left, so she hadn't missed out on anything, I don't think.
Do we need to be worried about the ancient entity saying it would wreck the cosmos and such?
Possibly. We haven't been destroyed yet, so I reckon we're probably okay for now. Got a couple of years at least.
Okay, that all sounds fine then. And I know the whole story? A little surprising, but not entirely shocking. You can go now.
Thank you, sir.
Smith!
Sir?
Bringing Dr. Eichelmann, will you?
Yes, sir. She may be a second, though.
Why is that?
She just got back from retrieving a pair of gloves she apparently ordered a couple of weeks ago. Apparently the delivery was delayed when they were intercepted by aliens, so she told me she had to launch up into space and get the gloves back single-handed.
Is that true?
Oh, I think so, sir. The giant crate of dead aliens she brought back with her feels somewhat like solid proof.
So, she wasn't making up the story about the gloves. Well, that truly is shocking.
You have been listening to Rubber Gloves, written by Arthur Drury, starring
Laura Eichelmann as Margret Tawnham.
Nick Lemieux as the Colonel.
Angel Chiu as Smith.
directed and edited by Oliver Buck.
Bloopers.
Okay, it's okay. No. This is a good start. This is
serious professionalism now.
Margarine? Margarine?
Margarine.
Margarine. Margret. No. She even tried to connect her gloves shipment. She even tried to connect her shop. She even tried to connect her gloves shipment being delayed to some story she heard about extraterrestrial. She even tried to connect her gloves shipment being delayed to some story. Ugh. Okay. She even tried to connect her gloves shipment being delayed to some story she heard about extraterrestrial order. She even tried to connect her gloves shipment being delayed to some story she heard about extraterrestrial. I can't. She even tried to connect her gloves shipment being delayed to some story she heard about extraterrestrial activity over the Pacific. Okay. She even tried to connect her gloves shipment being delayed to some story she heard about extraterrestrial order. She even tried to connect her gloves shipment being delayed to some story she heard about extraterrestrial activity over the Pacific.
Perfect.
Hey!
Eh?
Extraterrestrial.
That truly is shocking.
Yeah.
Yay! And that's rap.
Whoa, baby. That's Hollywood. Oh.
Better stop the recording.
Oh.